Keeping it moving forward, we got to talk about the quarterback on the other side of the field tonight in Monday Night Football's matchup. Bryce Young struggled. He had 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, including this red zone interception that we saw. Jair Brown ended up intercepting this one. And this tweet said, Bryce Young's only option was to throw an interception here, and that is exactly what he did. Fellas, I'm going to ask you guys the hard question, the uncomfortable question. Is Bryce Young a franchise quarterback?
I got some important information for y'all. There's no better place to win cash while watching sports than PrizePicks. Football season is here and basketball season is here, so there's absolutely no better time to join. It's super easy to use. To create a lineup, all you got to do, select a few player stats, pick more or less. That's literally it. PrizePicks is available in more than 40 states, including California, Texas, my home state, and Georgia. But my favorite thing, PrizePicks is going to give you $50 in lineups when you make your first $5 lineup. What's that mean? Win or lose, you get $50 in lineups for free. Just download the app and use promo code Speakeasy today. $5 gets you $50 in lineups. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. No, not yet. Let's be real about Bryce Young. This season, we're about 12 weeks in, and he hasn't had back-to-back 200 passing yard games on the season. How can I call you a franchise quarterback if you haven't had back-to-back games with 200 yards? The problem with Bryce Young is too Jekyll and Hyde. I think last week he almost said if he didn't set a Carolina passing record with over 400 yards. And then this week, after throwing for 446 yards last week, Bryce Young, you throw for 169 yards this week. And then the week before the 440-yard passing game, it's 124 yards. Shady, I can't make sense of it. How do you go from no touchdowns and 2 interceptions in the previous 2 games cumulatively? Then you have 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and 400 yards. Then you have 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions tonight, and 140 yards, 160 yards. Like, he's too inconsistent to be a franchise quarterback. Has a high ceiling. We've seen that ceiling. The end of last season, he cooked. But I'm seeing way too many inconsistencies, 2-5.
Yeah, I hate that you're right, but you are right. I mean, he's not consistent enough to put him on that level of a franchise. A franchise quarterback is a guy that's going to make $200, $300 million. That's what a franchise quarterback is, and I don't think he's that. A franchise guy is that can win you games. I can win you at least regular season games. They don't do that. I can count on you. The defense is not doing well. The running game is not doing well. I can count on you. He don't do none of that. So I like him. I just haven't seen enough of him because he had some really, really good games. Then he had some bad, poor games. And to be a franchise quarterback, you got to be consistent. He hasn't been consistent enough for me to say he's a franchise quarterback. And I like the young kid.
Here's the other thing, because I like Bryce. He came on our show previously, is keeping in mind how many quarterbacks is Bryce actually better than? That's the other frustrating thing. I believe winning and losing is a quarterback stat. You step on the field, whichever team has the best quarterback typically wins the game. I'd probably suggest 80-85% of the time they win the game. If y'all are ever betting, PrizePicks, code Speakeasy, always bet on the team that got the better quarterback. How many teams is Bryce just better than? How many quarterbacks is he? I don't know. He's probably in the bottom 12. If we're just being honest about the situation, he for sure ain't in the top 10. For sure ain't in the top 10. So, I just don't know how many quarterbacks is Bryce actually better than.
I got a great question for y'all, though. Is he better than Justin Fields?
Yeah. Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
Just making sure.
But the problem is, he don't just crazy clear him. As a passer, he does. But he don't just, as a passer, he does. Here's the thing. Bryce Young has this year.
I just asked a question.
This year, Bryce has a really good defense and a top 10 running back.
Yeah.
If you're a quarterback with a really good defense, a top 10 running back, and a budding star at wide receiver is a rookie, a wide receiver, why aren't you more successful? Rico Dowdle's going crazy. This game, y'all had 3 interceptions. Shady knows this. If an offense has 3 interceptions, you should lose.
You should lose.
You should lose. Like, if an offense has 3 picks, you should lose. The Niners only scored, 20 points? Yeah. Panthers should win that game. Yeah. So, for me, if you can't win when you have 3 interceptions, when the heck can you win? Now, thankfully, the Buccaneers are struggling. Thankfully, the Saints are atrocious. So, you still have a shot at winning that division. But at the end of the day, I don't have confidence in Bryce Young yet. And Bryce hasn't done enough, Care Bear, to earn my confidence.
This is my thing. That it's interesting with Bryce. This is year 3, correct, for Bryce Young. Getting benched, having to come back, lighting it up. I think a lot of people expected him to take that next step and be more consistent. We had TJ on the show. TJ talks about how hard he works and how much work he does put in the offseason. The thing is, it's unfortunate that it's inconsistent right now. Last week, he's NFC Player of the Week. Has 448 yards passing, breaks Carolina's record, and he looks incredible. But to me, guys, can you build your franchise around a player that is this inconsistent?
It's not even you can't. They won't.
So do you think that we're looking at a Bryce Young replacement?
If the Panthers do not make the playoffs this year, Bryce Young's probably gone. Wow. Frank Reich is a brilliant offensive mind.
I agree with that.
A brilliant offensive mind.
Yeah.
I believe Bryce was there. It didn't work out with Frank Reich, if I'm not mistaken. 1-10, I believe the Panthers were. Rome, shout at me if I'm wrong. 1-10, I believe the Panthers were. Frank Reich gets fired. Mm-hmm. Now you bring in Dave Canales. Dave Canales was the person that really revitalized Baker Mayfield's career. Like, he was the person that helped Baker Mayfield go from probably going to be out the league in 2 to 3 years or probably going to be a perennial backup to now Baker Mayfield ended up getting a $100 million contract. So, if Canales, who saved Baker Mayfield, can't save you, if Frank Reich, who saved Nick Foles and helped the Eagles win their very first Super Bowl, can't save you, who can save you? How many coaches will get fired before Bryce Young gets benched?
Yeah.
In perpetuity, not benched for a moment in time. How many coaches will get fired before Bryce Young gets replaced? You're not firing another coach. I do not believe that Panthers ownership is going to say, well, Frank Reich, Super Bowl winning offensive mind, didn't work. Dave Canales helped turn Baker Mayfield into a $100 million quarterback, didn't work. Oh, it's on the coaches. No, eventually you have to say it's on Bryce.
Can we be honest here, though? Have you guys seen another quarterback, first-round pick, have this disparity in performances on a week-to-week basis? Because this isn't the first, good game he's had. They lost Arizona earlier this year. He put up 328, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Yep. And then he ends up having another good game. I think it was later on against Dallas. He had a great game against the Cowboys.
They beat you?
They beat us. Yeah. We were bad. That was back in the day. It was before Quinnen. We undefeated with Quinnen.
Focused.
But anyway, he has those good games, and then he'll come out there and just stink up the joint. To me, it's confusing because what is it that's actually wrong with Bryce Young? What's holding him back? What's his limitation? Because we can just say consistency, but what on the field is he actually struggling with?
I think it's a couple things. The very first thing is Bryce's physical tools are somewhat limited for an NFL game. Right? He's undersized.
Yeah.
We've heard other undersized quarterbacks talk about the fact that they have to move between offensive linemen because you can't just see over them. That's the first thing. We've also had to question Bryce Young's durability because of his size as well. Bryce Young's arm is big, but it's not as though it's that wiry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, he's athletic, but he's athletic for college. Bryce Young's a very cerebral player. Then if we're also being honest, this is the first year he's had legitimate help. Adam Thielen was the number 1 last year because Xavier Legette was not it. Chuba Hubbard has been trying to ascend, but remember, they had Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders was a swing and a miss. And then Bryce Young's first year, he's a rookie. So I don't think Bryce Young has ever had, really good footing. And in the NFL, unfortunately, you just have to find a way to succeed regardless of the atmosphere. I get it. Trevor Lawrence walked into a crappy situation with Urban Meyer. We don't care anymore. Kyler Murray, you know what I mean? We don't care anymore. We don't care what situation you go to. Josh Rosen, you got benched after 1 season. We don't care anymore.
I'll ask you guys a bigger question. Is his success or failure, does his success or failure change the NFL landscape on smaller quarterbacks, undersized quarterbacks? Because I think after looking at the Tua Tagovailoas, after looking at the Bryce Youngs, after looking at the Kyler Murrays and how they've performed, how do we feel about them? I understand Baker's a little bit smaller, but he's still a stockier guy.
Yeah. I think that's a really good question. I believe the undersized quarterback will die with Bryce Young and Tua Tagovailoa. Wow. I think it'll die with Bryce and Tua. The NFL goes in waves, right? We saw Lamar Jackson, and as a result, we were like, oh, Robert Griffin. Oh, Justin Fields. Oh, quarterbacks that are just fast and can run well. We saw Patrick Mahomes, and so we were like, oh, Jordan Love. Quarterbacks that have really big arms. Oh, Trey Lance. Quarterbacks that can run and have really big arms. I believe that because of how poorly the Bryce Youngs and the Tuas have performed, I do think the undersized quarterback is going to die with them too. Let's just be honest about it.
Wow. Shady?
And the Dylan Gabriels of the world.
I don't know about that though. Because Kyler Murray, I think he's talented, but what makes him not a good quarterback is I don't think he prepares.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think he puts the work in. Because everything is all about talent base. He's running around trying to make plays, extending plays. But what about plays on time? What about reading coverages? So if he did them things, right, and your team would have to say, hey, man, we're going to put in your contract for you to look at the playbook or watch film. You're the quarterback. So I think guys like that could be better. Who else is small in this league?
Tua.
Right? Okay, so Tua. Tua had some good moments, right? I don't think he's that good of a quarterback, but he did have good moments. The right coach, the right players. There was a time like, dang, Tua might be legit. I remember this guy to the left of me used to always praise Tua.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's good moments with him. So I don't know necessarily about the smaller quarterbacks, because if you're a good player, you're going to make plays.
Yeah,
that's going to make plays.
I'll tell you what my problem is, though.
Wait, real quick, before you go. Yeah. This is what I will say, though. If you can't move, you will not play quarterback. It was when I was coming in the league, like they had all them type of quarterbacks, but they couldn't really move. They just pocket passers. They smart. They're so smart. They're so smart. They're 6'5". They're 6'4". That's over with.
Yeah.
We need guys that can move. I don't care what color you are. I don't care where you from and what college. You got to be able to move. And now, even like a guy like Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow ain't no Lamar Jackson, but he can move enough.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So I think that's the only thing that matters nowadays is I need you to extend plays, right? I need you to throw the ball in different directions. Like when I say that, like, 6'6" DN, I need you to throw the ball around him, side. I need all that now.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the new thing I think now is like you need guys that can throw the ball in different angles and also be able to scramble and extend plays.
Yeah. I think my concern is hearing a guy like Tua go out and say, like, like sometimes I have trouble seeing over the line.
Yeah, wow.
What? That's maybe that's just a Tua thing, because Tua would be saying a lot. But like having that self awareness. Well, a lack of self-awareness, I guess, to even admit that that's a problem that you have.
Yeah,
like
too much self-deprecation.
That to me is a crazy thing moving forward. That I think, there's a reason why the prototypical guy is 6'3" to 6'5".
Let me ask you. Tell me one thing you are great at. What are you great at?
Being a great son to my loving mother.
You talking on TV?
Yeah.
What you meant on TV?
I'm saying in general, but that's cool.
Just in general. I'm hilarious.
I'll take that part. The mom thing. You've been doing that since you've been a kid.
Yeah.
So, for example, I never was a big running back, but I've always been smaller. Right? I've always. So you adjust. So now, like even in football, basketball, boxing, you are who you are.
Yeah.
Right? I think players, obviously, you get stronger, you get faster, you get better, but you are who you are. So I've always been smaller. Allen Iverson, he's always been small. Like you know how to adjust.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So when I hear him, I'm like, Tua, what are you talking about?
Yeah. You've always been.
There's
that
no
way.
excuse for that.
To me, and I don't want to make it a Tua conversation, but guys like him let me know that everybody that's in the pros are not competitors. I don't think he competes. Competitors ain't talking like that. Yeah, sometimes guys can't see over the line, man. That's why I threw them picks. What? This pisses me off. What are you talking about?